Today I'd like to talk about watching the snake. Watching the snake is a term that I use with clients who are struggling with their need to keep an eye on the abusive person. So often after the relationship is over, survivors will continue to engage with the abusive person for a number of different reasons. But one of the reasons is because it becomes our instinct to continue to have an eye on them. And here's why. So imagine that where you live, in your home, there's a viper that just roams freely through your house. So what you would do then, getting used to just having a viper around, is you would always want to know where the viper is and what it's up to and when was the last time it ate. So you would be very much in tune with the viper and what its needs are and its location and its behaviors, right? You do this as a way of protecting yourself. You become vigilant or hyper-vigilant, needing to monitor the activities and the whereabouts of the viper. Of course you would, right? Because you want to know, is it creeping right behind me? Oh, no, that's Stormy taking a nap. But if you had a viper in the room, you would constantly want to know where it is. So when we're in a relationship that's abusive, we're experiencing narcissistic abuse, this person harms us out of nowhere, and they're vicious and they strike quickly at times. Also, they require our attention and our emotions, so they're used to being the center of our world. And that's what the viper would become, is the center of your world, because you need to know where it is in order to protect yourself or to know how to please it, right? So if the viper's hungry, let's get it fed, right? If the viper is too hot or too cold, let's adjust that temperature. So we will continue to try to assess the needs and the condition of the abusive person in order to keep them at bay, but to also be alert and aware so that we can avoid abuse. So watching the snake means that you continue to need to keep an eye on the abusive person even after the relationship is over. And there are a few ways that we do this. One is through cyber stalking. Look, I know that's a harsh term, but you know what I'm talking about. There's something that happens where we feel the need to continue to look at social media to see what they're up to, who they're hanging out with, where they are in terms of like location. And then there's also interest in whether they're successful in their endeavors. You know, who are they focusing on now? Who is going to be their next target? And if they immediately found another relationship, sometimes we're wondering, maybe it was me and they seem happy in this other relationship. Maybe with that other person, they're able to be the good version of themselves. So we'll continue to, look for them on social media and online, and even go like layers deep with the connectedness. So, a friend of a friend that you're friends with, and so you can look at the abusive person by way of looking at someone who is a shared connection. We also will continue to talk to people that still have contact with that person and engage them in conversation about them, trying to extract information so that we know what that person is up to. And it's not because we want to get back together. It's not because we want to invite that person back into our life. But it feels like an addictive thing. It's like it's very hard to stop checking on the snake, watching the snake. Where's the snake? What's the snake up to? Who's the snake going to bite next, right? So it's really hard to stop that for some reason, because it's been an instinct. You've been doing it for so long, it's become innate and instinctive to continue to watch the snake. Another way that we'll watch the snake is by, if we share children with the person, is to ask the kids questions about what's going on there. We know how to talk to our kids and we know how to ask the right questions. And it's not that we are trying to control what's happening in the other environment. It's just we kind of need to know and want to know all the time what's going on. And so we'll ask the kids certain questions to extract information. We will also continue to have contact with this person long past the time that we should have. So, you know, we want to start no contact, but for some reason we just can't get it together to start no contact. We'll be talking about it and planning it. Okay, next week I'm going to go no contact, but we'll continue to, you know, how they do, they circle back and, hey, how you doing? Just thinking about you. Or they might reach out and say something nasty. It doesn't have to be, you know, they like negative and positive attention. So, you know, with no contact, we wouldn't respond to their communication attempts. But because we have the instinct to watch the snake, when they reach out to communicate, we feel like we have to respond, or that we need to respond in order to keep the snake happy, or to monitor the snake to see where the snake is. So part of us continuing to have contact is, you know, there's the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn responses of trauma and of abuse, and some of us are really good at fawning. So the inability to cut off communication is not only a form of fawning because we don't want to piss them off, but also because we have this instinct that we need to keep an eye on the snake. So that's what I mean when I say watching the snake. We feel like if we stop watching the snake, that we're putting ourselves at risk or in danger, because they will strike without warning. If we're watching the snake, at least we see them when they're coming. Okay, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please do me a favor and subscribe and click like. Have a good day. Bye.